So, I finished Tears of the Kingdom, and let me just say, wow, what a great and beautiful game. I want to thank everyone who played a part in creating this masterpiece because it was just so much fun and I loved every moment of playing it. So this is my experience with Tears of the Kingdom. Okay, so first I'm gonna talk about the negatives. But before I do, I just want to give a fair warning. I am allowed to have my own opinion and also dislike some things about a game. That in no way means that I dislike the entire game. I'm really just nitpicking at this point, which actually kind of proves how good of a game it is. Just remember that my opinion is my opinion. It is not gospel. So with that warning, please take my next words with a grain of salt. One thing that I did not really appreciate within Tears of the Kingdom was the continuity issues with Breath of the Wild. Now, I mentioned this in my last video as well, but I would like to touch on it a little bit better. In my last video, I mentioned how most characters don't remember Link, to which many of you replied yes, they did. Which I can see as well, but it's only really the main important characters that do, and none of the side characters or unimportant NPCs that we know we have seen before. Along with that, another topic I touched on was the champions and the divine beasts as well. Like I said previously, the champions are almost never mentioned, and that honestly makes me terribly upset. But I'm really talking in terms of story and dialogue, they really aren't mentioned at all. Like this one moment where Teba gives Tulin the Great Eagle bow and calls it his bow, not mentioning who it belonged to first, which is Rivali. And it's the same with the divine beasts. Although you could say there's an explanation to them being destroyed or maybe melted down for more materials, I feel like there's no explanation as to why they're not talked about any. I feel like that would be a little shocking if the ginormous Sheikah monsters that were roaming your village or town or city for hundreds of years just suddenly were dismantled. And when I talk about this, I don't mean that I wish they were a part of the main story more. I mainly mean that it could have been at least a tiny bit of dialogue. Maybe an NPC mentioning how it doesn't rain as much now that Vah Ruta is gone. An NPC saying how they remember how bad the earthquakes used to be when Vah Naboris roamed around. It's just small things like that, really. Another thing on my list of dislikes is the exploration. Now, wait. Before you make your assumptions, remember what I said before, I am simply nitpicking. I actually really enjoyed the exploration and the map. There are just very few things that I would have liked to have changed. Like, I wish the Sky Islands were more vast and you could explore them better. Think about it, the Sky Islands are very bare and most of them are very, very small. The chasms I really loved and I loved how spooky they were and such, but at the same time I kind of got bored of them. It's really just the same Malice, Dark Bloom. Malice, Dark Bloom, Malice, Dark Bloom. I just realized I called it Malice when in this game it's called Gloom. Why did that change? Do any of you guys know why it changed from Malice to Gloom? Personally, I like Malice so much better. Anyway, obviously, the most exciting part of the exploration happened on the actual land of Tears of the Kingdom. And it was so much fun returning to past things that we've seen in Breath of the Wild and seeing how it was new or different. But in my opinion, just like the sky and underground, that gets a little boring too. For some reason, I feel like this game isn't replayable. Breath of the Wild, I could replay hundreds and hundreds of times, and I have, but Tears of the Kingdom, I feel like I might play it a few more times just to see things that I missed, but really, that's about it. Anyway, I'll talk about it more probably throughout this video, but that's really my only nitpicking things about this game.
Now let's get to the main stuff. Also, in this video from here on out, you can definitely tell that I have a cold, so please bear with me. I'm just gonna go right out and say it, Tears of the Kingdom story is absolutely beautiful. Especially when it comes to Zelda's memories. I saw a lot of people complaining that they didn't like how you could achieve Zelda's memories in a different order and not chronologically, and I can see why that would be an issue. It was something that people didn't like in Breath of the Wild, but now also don't like in Tears of the Kingdom. I personally did not look up any spoilers for any of the memories before I saw them myself, but I did look up a guide to get them in order. And if you do play the game without any help or any guides, then it can be a little jarring if you go from a happy scene to Queen Sonia dying. So it's not the most ideal, but I'm gonna step away from that topic for right now and focus focus on another part of the story, the 4 main regional phenomenon. And I think I'm just gonna go region by region. So I'll go ahead and start with Rito Village, the one that I completed first. I am a bit biased when I say that this one is my favorite. I mean, I loved Rito Village in Breath of the Wild. Rivali was my favorite champion. I have a lot of bias towards it. But I also think that thematically, it was the best one. I just think story-wise, it flowed better than the other 3. And if you've seen any of my other videos, you know Tulin. Oh my god, you know I love Tulin, so. And I'll be talking about the bosses later. That's a separate topic that I want to get to. The second one I completed was Zora's Domain. Now, I also enjoyed this one, but the dungeon wasn't my favorite along with its boss. But once again, bias checks in. I love Sidon, I love Zora's Domain, I just really enjoyed the aesthetic of it all and the atmosphere. But oh my goodness, I know Sidon fangirls are not having a good day. Next is Gerudo Town. This one is definitely battling Rito Villages for my favorite spot. Same with that one. The story thematically I think is really well paced and very fun. I absolutely loved defending Gerudo Town from Gibdos and like placing your forces everywhere. I had a lot of fun with it. But I enjoyed the lead up to the dungeon more than the dungeon itself. If you could even call these dungeons, but I'm still going to for the sake of it's easier to say. Now for my least favorite, Goron City. Eldin has never been my favorite region, period, even in Breath of the Wild, which it hurts so much because I know so many people love it and I really wanted to get myself to, but I just can't. And I know this is the majority opinion, but I don't really like Yunobo. But I think that's enough talking about that. My next topic is short, but I would like to talk about it for a brief moment. I really enjoyed that you could get amiibo sets without actually having the amiibo. When I tell you I was so shocked when I suddenly came upon the Trousers of the Sky when I didn't have the amiibo, let's just say I was pleasantly shocked. Along with just all the new armor sets, I really enjoy them all. Well, maybe except for one.
I'm not a furry. You guys are gross.
Listen, I know that's supposed to be the ancient hero from 10,000 years ago or so, and I know he was a Zonai, but oh my god, I hate the way it looks. I don't know why, but I love Roru's design to death, but this, I can't get my head around it. Okay, let's move on to the next topic. If you know me, you know I am a complete sucker for any character information I can get. So when I first saw the character profiles, I went insane. It's a very small feature that was added, and it's not that important either, but I am so happy it was included. Just all the added features in general, I really enjoyed. Now for the thing most of you have probably been waiting for. I can now finally answer the question. How do I feel about the bosses and tiers of the kingdom? And the answer is simple, and it usually goes for every game I play. There's some that I love, and there's some that I don't love. And I'm not including bosses like Gleox, Taluses, Hinoxes. I'm just including the main 4 bosses and then the final boss. But how would you guys feel if I made a video about all the bosses and tiers of the kingdom? Comment down below. But anyway, let's start with most people's firsts, Caldera. Before anything about the boss itself, I just have to say, oh my god, the score is stunning. I thought it was impossible to even rival Breath of the Wild soundtrack, but oh my goodness, the music in this game is actually crazy. Anyway, okay, to the boss itself. It is not a terribly difficult boss fight. If anything, I think it's probably the easiest out of the 4, but I think it's the atmosphere that saves it. The music, the setting, just everything about it. I just couldn't help this sense of nostalgia when I was fighting against it. And that may be because Caldera was originally in Wind Waker, but I mean, and before I get any comments saying, that's not Caldera, I understand, it's Molgera. In my opinion, I think that's close enough. but like, yeah, I think it was supposed to be nostalgic anyway, so. And once again, I'm completely biased. I mean, Wind Waker is one of my favorite games of all time, so. Colgera, very high up on the list of my favorite bosses in this game. Next, we have the Fire Temple's boss, and I know I said I disliked the Fire Temple pretty much as a whole. I really liked the boss. And although it was very, very easy to beat, I just have to say, it's Goma. You expect me to not be excited over Goma? Listen, I know Goma pretty much across the board in every game that he appears in is notorious for being super easy, but I am gonna let this one slide because the return of so many names in the franchise that we have grown to love or grown to hate even is just so fun, and it makes me so happy. But I will say, standing alone as a boss, Marbled Goma isn't that exciting, and it is super easy to beat once you get the hang of its attacks. However, I did like the use of Yunobo's ability, just it was a pain with Joy-Con drift. The Muktarok was probably my least favorite out of the four. I feel like it goes without being said, but I will say it was easy. Once again, I'm biased. I love Zora's Domain. I've loved it ever since Ocarina of Time, which was my first Zelda game. But this boss is probably my least favorite, like I said. I don't know why, but it was a little silly to me, and I guess that's Muktarok's whole point, is to be a silly little creature that was able to do so much to hurt the domain. And I also thought it was silly the fact that he could just like turn into a Splatoon boss. But whatever, enough of the negative. He was mediocre. I liked him. That's about all I can say. I hate Queen Gibdo. That's kind of all I have to say. She was so annoying. Not even that difficult, just annoying. But I'm gonna go ahead and get to the main attraction of this video that I've been kind of hyping up. Hey, roll the tape. Roll the tape. Do not look away. Oh yeah, so cool. You witness a king's revival. If you've seen any of my other videos, you're very aware that the return of Ganondorf got me very, very excited very fast. Legend of Zelda is not only my favorite game franchise, but it also has my favorite villains. Of course, we have Demise, we have Girahem, but we also have probably the biggest bad of the franchise, Ganondorf. But along with excitement came a lot of worry. Breath of the Wild, although a masterpiece of a game, is very notorious for its bad final boss. But when I tell you I cannot complain one bit about the final boss in this game, I mean it, because oh my god, I love this final boss. It just feels like a proper Ganondorf fight. It just feels like a proper Zelda ending boss. The one-on-one duel with the Demon King himself. Oh! I can't complain. I can't do it. I cannot complain. The last Ganondorf one-on-one fight that we really had was in Twilight Princess. Do you know how long ago Twilight Princess was released? And Twilight Princess is my favorite Legend of Zelda game, so it's kind of hard to compare the two, but I think it properly can be compared. Setting my complete bias aside, I think that Tears of the Kingdom's Ganondorf fight is probably better than the Twilight Princess Ganondorf fight. But I don't want to touch on that too much because it probably will make a lot of people angry. But oh my gosh, just even this first phase, and obviously there's multiple phases, is it really a Ganondorf fight if there's not multiple phases? The answer's no, by the way. The answer is a big fat no. But the original first phase duel is insane. I love it so much. I was so excited that my hands were like shaking. And yes, for your enjoyment and my own, I recorded my reaction to the second phase. So here's that. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, I knew we weren't done. I knew this wasn't over, but... Huh? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh why did it keep going? If you thought I liked the first phase of Ganondorf, imagine how I feel about the second phase. I am not over-exaggerating when I say I died 6 or 7 times. I actually wrote down how many times I died because I thought maybe it would be good in a video. I'm not joking when I say I blame some of the deaths that I had because I was so excited and I was shaking so much. Nothing is ever gonna compare to this. Like, ever. Like, hello? When he taunts you, hello? When he perfectly dodges one of your flurry rushes, hello? Also, he takes away like your max hearts. Like, not even with gloom, like your actual hearts, like your actual health. It's crazy how like little I have to say about this fight, but how much I love it. And now with the third phase, we can reach our conclusion. If you've played Breath of the Wild, you may recall Dark Beast Ganon. Probably one of the worst and easiest final battles that there have ever been in a Zelda game. And while you could compare the dragon form of Ganondorf to Dark Beast Ganon, I feel like it's not equal in any way. Is it the easiest out of all 3 phases? Of course, it's so easy compared to the other 2. But it's just, I don't know, it's just the theme of it all. It's so good at what it does. And I was already shedding tears when I saw Zelda's dragon come in and help from the fight, and I got even more excited when I saw you could control her movements. The weak points on the demon dragon are a bit too comical for me, but it's so overshadowed by everything else, it's hard to complain. Finally destroying Ganondorf just felt so good. The payoff was so good. But even all of that could not compare to the way the ending of the game made me feel. There is so much to say about this ending that I just simply can't put into words. I cannot even begin to explain how beautiful it is. When Link, with the help of Rauru and Sonia's spirit, helped return Zelda to her original form, oh my god, I was sobbing my little eyes out. The way that because now Zelda is returned and Hyrule is saved, that they can finally move on and rest. My sensitive heart can't take that. The parallel between the very beginning of the game where Link reached out to Zelda but he failed to protect her and hang on, compared to the ending of the game where he can finally reach her. Nintendo put all their blood, sweat, and tears into this ending. Oh my god. And the music that plays during this, it's so swelling and beautiful. I could honestly make a whole video by itself just about the music of this game, but that's not the focus right now. The focus is Link and Zelda. What a beautiful representation of their love, right? You could argue for days and days and probably years about if Zelda and Link is a canonical couple. In my eyes, there are some games where they are and some games where they aren't, but in my opinion, Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild have the best representation of their love. Again, another topic for another video. Overall, what I want you to take out of this video is that this game is a masterpiece. If this doesn't win Game of the Year, I don't know what they're doing. Even just the last dialogue in this game, Link, I'm home, from Zelda, is such a heartwarming sentence that describes the entire game. While yes, Tears of the Kingdom does have its flaws, like every other video game on the planet, you'd be lying to yourself if you weren't to say that Tears of the Kingdom is one of the best installments in the entire Legend of Zelda franchise. Just bravo for such a beautiful and wonderful game. And with that, I'm gonna bring this video to a close. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you are doing well. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.
Oh, Link, I'm home.